Good morning, boys and girls. It is Mrs. Gruel again, and today we are on lesson 4 of our math problem set. So make sure you have that out in front of you if you don't already. Of course, you need a pencil, and we're going to use our counters, our tiles for just a little bit this morning. So again, if you have your color tiles or whatever you've been using all week, I'd like you to start with 15 of them this morning. So I think most of the time we've been using 12. So we're going to start with 15 this morning in a minute. Actually, I want to do the application problem first. So you can count out your 15 if you want to pause it, get your 15 ready, and then we're going to do an application problem this morning. Okay. And we're actually, instead of using the tiles or our counters for the application problem, I want to draw. So a piece of scrap paper or something would be good too. So if you want to pause it and count out 15 tiles for yourself, a piece of scrap paper, and make sure that you have your pink problem set and a pencil ready to go. Okay, so coming back together, I have our application problem. So again, an application problem we just kind of start our lessons out with. It gets our math brains going, and it helps us to remember what we worked on the day before or earlier in the week, and it just kind of gets us back in the flow. Okay, so if we look at this, I'd like you to read it with me. So it says the student council holds a meeting in Mr. Chang's room. They arrange the chairs in 3 rows of 5. How many chairs are used in all? So the student council holds a meeting and they arrange the chairs in 3 rows. So I'm going to bracket that 3 rows of 5. So I know that there's 3 rows and I know that there's 5 chairs in each row. And my question that I'm going to underline is how many chairs are used in all? Okay, so if you want to make this in tiles, or whatever your math manipulatives are, whatever you're using, you can go ahead and make it with that. If you want to pause it and do that, and I'm going to draw. I'm ready to start taking what I've been doing all week with my tiles and my counters, and I'm ready to start drawing. So 3 rows of 5. So I'm going to put the first one of each row in. So 1, 2, 3. There's my 3 rows, number 1 of each row. And then there's 5 in each row. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, arrays are nice and neat and organized. We see arrays all over, even though we don't necessarily think that we're looking at arrays. We've looked at, in our other problem set, we had a carton of eggs that would be arrays. Ice cube trays could be arrays. Anything that you see that's kind of organized in rows, where they are one right above each other. Okay, so they have to be lined up. So see where else you can find arrays out in the world or in your house, and then let me know what you come up with. Okay, so anyways, there's my 3 rows of 5. And I've got my 3 rows of 5. And I'm going to put that there. I'm going to write my number sentence, which is 3 times 5 equals 15. Okay, what do we think? Pretty good. I hope that's getting easier and easier for us as we go. I don't want to stop there, though. I want to do draw a different model. So the same information, and see if we can draw it in a different way besides an array. So what else do we know how to do? We know equal groups pictures, right? So instead of 3 rows in an array, I'm going to draw 3 groups. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to put 5 in each group. So there's 3 groups of 5, which still shows 3 times 5 equals 15. Do we know any other ways yet? How about at the end of yesterday of our lesson, do we remember doing the number bonds? Number bonds are fun to do. So if you remember, we draw the top of the number bond, and we put the total in the top, and the total is 15. And there's 3 rows or 3 groups. So that means we're going to have 3 parts coming off our number bond. And there is 5 in each group. And this also shows 3 times 5 equals 15. So what do we think? Look at that, boys and girls. We have 3 different ways. And it's only our 4th day of math, of learning our lessons. And we already have 3 different ways that we know how to model or to represent a problem. So I think that's pretty cool. And you know what? This is maybe the half of it. We're definitely going to learn more strategies. And we're going to practice these strategies. And then you can choose the ones that are your absolute favorites to show. But nice job. Okay, are you ready to dive into our lesson for today? All right. So, and we're actually switching it up a little bit today. So our lesson today, lesson 4, says, I can understand the meaning of the unknown as a size of the group of division. So today we are starting division, which is pretty cool. But you're going to see that multiplication and division are very much related. So you may think, oh my gosh, we're dividing already, which is what, like when I first started teaching this as a teacher, I think it's fast to dive into it, but you're going to see that it's actually okay, that they are very much related. We'll start out. So I am going to use some tiles for a little bit. So I asked you guys to take out tiles. So if you have your 15 tiles, I'm actually just going to double count to make sure I have that right. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So with division, you start out with a total. So that's the difference. So when we multiply, we're trying to find the total, but when we divide, we know the total and we're either trying to find how many groups or how many are in each group. So when you think about it, when we divide, if I have some lollipops, if I have 10 lollipops and I want to divide them between my 2 friends, I need to have, each friend needs to have an equal share. So I'm going to keep giving each friend a lollipop until I run out of lollipops, right? So that's the difference with division. With multiplication, we're trying to find the total. With division, we have the total, and then we're splitting that total up into equal groups. So division is still very much dealing with equal groups, but it's starting with the total and then breaking that total up into smaller equal groups. So if we have our 15 tiles or counters, whatever you're using, I have my pile of 15. This is my total that we're going to divide. So let's say that this is going to represent let's go with our lollipop. So this is going to represent 15 lollipops, and I have 3 friends that I want, or let's say I have 2 friends and me. So that's still going to give us 3 equal groups. I want some lollipops too, right? So I'm going to have 3 groups. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Those are my 3 groups. This is, let's say, Mrs. Russell, Mrs. Donnelly, and myself. This is actually not very nice. I'm going to take myself out of the equation and we'll say that this is Mrs. Corbett. How about that? Mrs. Gruel is not going to get any lollipops today. I don't have enough. So this is Mrs. Russell, Mrs. Donnelly, and Mrs. Corbett. And I'm going to be a good friend and I'm going to split my 15 lollipops up between my 3 friends so they can each get an equal share. So I've got my 15 and I already gave each teacher 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep taking from my total and giving each friend 1. Okay, so they already have 1. There's 2 for each one now. And I actually could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now that I put that second layer on there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I've used all of my lollipops and I have an equal amount in each group, right? Because they each got the same amount. So if I look, there are 5 for Mrs. Russell, 5 for Mrs. Donnelly, and 5 lollipops for Mrs. Corbett as well. So they each have 5. So I took those 15 lollipops and I split them between 3 groups equally, and each group got 5. So if I want to write that as a division sentence, it's our first day writing division sentence, kind of exciting. So I took that total, which was 15, and I divided it. Here's our division symbol, boys and girls. I divided it between my 3 friends, and each friend got an equal amount, and that equal amount was 5 lollipops. So 15 divided by 3 equals 5. What do we think? Division doesn't seem so scary when we do it like that, right? Okay, let's take away. So we have 13 or 15. Take away 3 tiles now. Let's go back to that magic number of 12 that we used before. Okay, so now I have my 2 piles of 10 plus 2 more. Now we can kind of mix it up. So make sure you have 12 tiles. If you need to pause and take a break so you can get yourself organized, you can do that. Okay, and now I want to say I have 12 Hershey's Kisses. So now we're going to chocolate. Okay, and I want some chocolate this time. I don't want to leave myself out like I did last time. So this time I want to split those 12 Hershey's Kisses between Mrs. Russell, Mrs. Donnelly, Mrs. Corbett, and myself. I want to get some this time. So how many groups do I have? I have 4 groups this time, right? So I've got my 12 Hershey's Kisses, and I'm going to have 4 groups. So I'm going to put 1 in each of my 4 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So each of these tiles, let me do 4 different colors just to start. Each of those tiles up there represents a teacher, a 3rd grade teacher, and it represents a group. Okay, so I have 12, right? I have 12 chocolates, and I want to see how many chocolates each teacher is going to get if I equally divide those 12 chocolates between the 4 of us. So there's 4. I'm going to count up till I get to 12. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the end. That is the end of my 12. So now each teacher got an equal share. So if I look, so this is, we said this was Mrs. Russell. Mrs. Russell has 3 Hershey's Kisses. Mrs. Donnelly has 3 Hershey's Kisses. Mrs. Corbett has 3. And Mrs. Gruel has 3. So we each got an equal share. We each got 3 pieces of chocolate. So if I write that as a division sentence, we start with 12 because that was my total. And then we divided it by 4 because there was 4 teachers. So we were splitting it among 4 groups. And we each got 3 pieces of chocolate. Does that make sense? So 4 was our total. When we divide, we always start with a total. We divided it by 4 because that was the number of groups. Each teacher was a group, and each teacher ended up getting 3. That was the size of the group, was 3. What do we think? We divide a lot, and we don't really even realize that we're dividing. When we're splitting things up into fair shares, equal shares, that's exactly what we're doing. We're dividing. Okay, let's jump right into our problem set. This is actually a pretty quick and easy one. Okay, so if I look at number 1, it says 14 flowers are divided into 2 equal groups. So they already did the dividing for us. There are blank flowers in each group. We'll just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. And just make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. So there are blank flowers in each group. There are 7 flowers in each group. Okay, go ahead and do number 2. You can do number 2 and you'll see if you agree with my answer. I'll give you a second. 28 books divided into 4 equal groups. There are blank books in each group. What did you put in this blank right here? Did you put a 7? Yeah, because we just had to count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 books in each group. So there's 28 books total. So I took that total. I divided them into 4 equal groups, and I got 7. Same thing here. There was 14 flowers total, and I divided those flowers into 2 equal groups, and then there was 7 in each one. Look at number 3. We have some apple trees. Probably we need to eat some apples after those lollipops and chocolate that the 3rd grade teachers were eating. All right, so 30 apples are divided into blank equal groups. Well, these trees have the 30 apples, so how many groups are there? There's 3 trees, right? So that represents those 3 equal groups. And there are blank apples in each tree. So I want you to count and then write in that blank how many apples are in each group. And if you want to pause it so you can make sure to say it on your paper, have it on your paper before I say it, then go ahead. Did you get 10? Me too. So there are 10 apples in each group. And you know what? If we put a 10 there, we can do our plus sign for our repeated addition. We have 10, 20, 30, which is 30 apples. So that's a good way for us to check right there. Okay. Number 4, if we look, let's count our cups first. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this row, which means there would be 6 in that row as well. So how many cups are there total if there's 2 rows of 6? That would be 12, right? So it says blank cups are divided. So our total number of cups is 12, right? So 12 cups are divided into blank equal groups. How many equal groups do we have, boys and girls? We have 2, right? 1 and 2. There's 2 shelves, 2 rows of cups. So they're divided into 2 equal rows, and there are blank cups in each group. What do you think? How many cups are in each group? 6. So 12 divided by 2 equals, yeah, you got it, 6. All right. I want you to try to solve 5 and 6 on your own. So go ahead and pause the video, and then you can unpause it when you are ready and you're ready to check your work. Okay, so I hope that you have paused it, you've solved, and that you're ready to check with me. So if we look here, there's 1, 2, 3 rows of teddy bears, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in each row. And it says there are blank toys in each group. Well, we already said there are 5 toys in each group. So 15, when we divide, we always start with a total. So 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So look, we took that total of 15 and we divided by 3 because there's 3 rows, and it equals 5 because there's 5 teddy bears in each row. Does that make sense, boys and girls? Good. All right, and number 6, we have 9 divided by 3. 9 is the total because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars. And it is dividing by 3 because there's 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3 rows of cars. And how many cars are in each row? 3. Did you get 3 for your answer? Thumbs up. Okay, and if not, I hope you can see where your mistake is. And again, you can pause it and take a look back through and see. But again, this one, the 9, when we divide, the total always is going to come first in a division sentence. So the biggest number comes first when we divide. Just like when we do subtraction, the biggest number comes first. When we divide, the biggest number comes first. We're dividing right now by the number of rows or the number of groups. And our total is how many are in each row or group. Okay, go ahead and flip it. All right, let's see how quickly we can motor through this, but still getting and doing well. Audrina has 24 colored pencils. She puts them in 4 equal groups. How many colored pencils are in each group? Okay, so I'm going to circle 24 because 24, I think, is a total. What do you think? Okay, so she has 24 colored pencils. She puts them in 4 equal groups, 4 equal groups. And my question is, how many colored pencils are in each group? Well, they already kind of did the dividing for us, right? So there's 24 pencils. She puts them in 4 equal groups. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So she probably did what we started out at the beginning. She took the 24 like we did when we were pretending that they were lollipops or the Hershey's Kisses, where we had the pile and we kept giving 1 to each group until we ran out. So now it says there are blank colored pencils in each group. If I look, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colored pencils in each group. So that means 24. Again, 24 comes first because it's the total, divided by 4 because we were dividing by the number of equal groups, equals 6 because there's 6 in each one. So again, when we divide, we take that total first, and we're dividing it into the number of groups that there are to see how many are in each group. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. So Charlie picks 20 apples right away. I'm thinking that that is the total I'm going to read on, but I'm thinking that I might be right there. So 20 apples. He divides them equally between 5 baskets. Draw the apples in each basket. Was I right? Is that 20 the total number? Yeah, it is. So he picks 20 apples. I'm going to circle that. And then it says he divides them equally between 5 baskets. I'm going to circle divides them equally because that's telling me that we're dividing, right? And that we have equal groups, which is important. And then I'm going to bracket 5 baskets. I'm going to put parentheses around 5 baskets because that's important. And then I'm going to underline my task, my job, which is to draw the apples in each basket. Okay, so I've got my 5 baskets here, my groups 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's 20 apples. So I'm going to put an apple in each basket until I count up to 20. So I'm going to count 1 and then keep counting until I get to 20. Are you ready to do it with me? Get that pencil ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I do another round? Yes, I'm at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Can I keep going? I sure can, because what number am I trying to get up to? I'm trying to get up to 20, right? So I'm at 10 right now. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Can I go some more? Yep, so I'm at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and stop. I hit that 20 mark, so I'm done, and now I need to see how many apples are in each basket. So if I look, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each basket has 4 apples, right? So I'm going to put a 4 right under each basket. Okay, and then I look at my question, and it says there are blank apples in each basket. So what's going to go in there? There are 4 apples in each basket. Super. 20 divided by blank. Well, 20 divided by how many groups did we have? We had 5 groups, 5 baskets, right? We took those 20 apples and we kept putting in one of each of the 5 baskets until we found out how many apples were in each basket, and we found that there were 4 apples in each basket. Good job. We are going to cross out number 9. If you want to do number 9 just for fun with those pretty butterflies, you are more than welcome to. But I want to take a look back at our I can statement for today. I can understand the meaning of the unknown as a size of the group of division. So that just meant when we were filling in these blanks here, all the way through, that we knew, well, 1, we learned division, right? And we were understanding the meaning of those. So for example, there are blank flowers in each group, so that we knew that the 7 was a flower in each group. We knew that the number of books in each group, we knew that there were 7 books in each group. How many apples were in each tree? There was 10 in each tree. So basically just we were answering how many were in each group. Okay, and we learned division today. So what do you think? Was it that hard? Division, I think, seems scary a lot of times at the beginning, but it's not. Especially when we use counters and draw pictures, it's actually pretty fun. So amazing job today, boys and girls. And if you have questions, please let us know, but wonderful work today.